Welcome back to The Inspired Entrepreneur with Heather Hope. Hey there, welcome back. This is Heather Hope, and today is October 11th, 2020. Okay, welcome back, guys. Gosh, if you don't know, I just got back from a week-long vacation in Mexico, and I got back a couple days ago, and so I am back. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Heather Hope, and I'm a law of attraction business coach, mentor, teacher, writer, speaker, all that good stuff. And I help entrepreneurs, I help business owners, self-employed, whoever, whatever that means to you. If you work for yourself, whether you're an actor or a chef, or I'm just thinking of the variety I have in my academy. I have online coaches, and I have restaurant owners, bakery owners, real estate agents, all kinds of people that I help bridge the gap of law of attraction and their business, to explode their business, to have more ease in their life. That's a big deal for us, is to really relax and let go and go with the flow and allow the universe to bring everything to us. All our job is to align with that. And that's just from an emotional stance. Okay, so I can't wait to tell you guys something. Oh, thank you for those who have been following along daily. Thank you for reaching out. I love talking with you guys. If you ever have, any kind of like thing that you want to just share with me, you can always message me or email me. But I love hearing from people, and if it's just a word of encouragement, I love it. It's always good to know that I'm reaching people. Okay, so before we get to today's quote, yeah, the book just didn't make it to the editor before our trip. It just didn't. I just didn't have it in me. So, as usual, I kind of just let it go for a little bit and not force anything, because everything is about timing. And everything is about following the inspiration, following what feels good. And it just didn't feel right at the time. So I'm getting there. It's getting there. It will be this month for sure. So the book will be here soon. Okay, so I went down to Mexico. We went down to Mexico to see about a potential place to live. And, there's so many lessons we learned from this trip. It was a great trip. For the most part, it was pretty good. Um, but it gave us extreme clarity. Extreme clarity within 2 days. We got there Thursday evening, right? Thursday afternoon. By Saturday afternoon, we knew exactly what we wanted to do. It was so clear. And so this is why you follow your inspiration, you follow what feels exciting, you follow things through, and it can give you just more clarity. It's clarifying. So this trip to Mexico was clarifying to us 100%. It was like, before we went to Mexico, we were thinking of all these other ideas to do. And as soon as we got to Mexico, we're like, no, we don't want to do any of those. We actually want to go back to California. As shocking as that may sound. We're going to go back to Pismo Beach. That is our home. As soon as we went to Pismo, as soon as I went to Pismo, this is such an amazing manifestation. A couple of years ago, where was I? Oh, I was going to, this is so cool. I was going to a retreat. A coach that I worked with a couple of years ago did a women's, like weekend retreat up in way northern California. And at the very last minute, I felt inspired to go. Like, I totally was not into it. I was like, no, 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 blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to go. And then, like, all of a sudden, I got this urge that I wanted to go. And what's funny is that a few months before that happened, that was like in September, I believe, of that year of 2018. Back in like April of 2018, 18, my grandmother was in the hospital for quite some time, in the ICU for weeks, and I was taking care of her. If you follow my story, I was taking care of her for 4 years, and that was like my full time job. And during that time, I was watching my coach go on Facebook Live like daily, and she just like drives back and forth from like LA, Santa Monica to up Northern California and back again. Like that's like what she just drives a lot. She's on the coast a lot, and I really loved California at the time. I that my goal was like my dream was to live in California because I visited there before, following another law of attraction teacher, James Arthur Ray. I went to La Jolla and I fell in love, and I just knew I wanted to live there. Okay, so during that time in April, watching her live streams, and me, I remember one night leaving the hospital. I was in the dark parking lot watching one of her live streams, and this thought popped in my head: I would love to drive the coast of California. That'd be really cool. That's just an idea. Never popped in my head before. And fast forward to September. It was like August or September. We're going to say September. Um, this opportunity came up, and I ended up like it ended up being that I drove the California coast, about three-quarters of the coast, three quarters of the coast, from San Diego up to way north of San Francisco. I drove that entire coast over the course of like a week and a half. I ended up driving the whole thing. And it wasn't planned. Like none of this was planned. It was just this really cool idea that popped in my head in April. It ended up manifesting in September, just out of the blue, nothing. You know what I mean? Like so often we think we get these ideas and then we have to like plan it. We have to figure it out, right? I did no figuring out of anything. And Abraham tells us, like, it is so much better to just let things go and let things manifest than to try to figure everything out. If I tried to figure out that trip, I probably wouldn't have taken it. I just wouldn't have. And because there's so many obstacles that come into our way when we start trying to figure things out, right? A lot of resistance comes in. We're like, oh my gosh, look how far this is and blah, blah. Like all the details start coming in of planning, and then we're just kind of like, no, that sounds like a lot of work, or it's too much money, or blah, 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 right? And so I didn't do anything with that idea. I did nothing. It was just an idea that came, which means I was in the vibrational vicinity of it. But so the opportunity came in September, and all of a sudden it popped in my head that I wanted to go to this retreat. And it was so weird. And I told my husband, we were dating at the time. I told him, like, I want to go to California. I want to go to this retreat, and I got to leave in like 3 days. And so it was just so impulsive. And I'm not that impulsive person. I am now. Like, I love being impulsive. It has brought the best things into my life to be just impulsive, last minute type of. I got this really great idea. I'm excited about it. I'm going to go do it. It is insanely awesome. so I remember telling him, I'm going to go. And it sounded kind of crazy. Like, I'm just going to up and go. Well, my grandmother had passed away. She went non-physical on me in May. So I was free of that responsibility. I had nothing keeping me, in one place all the time. So I'm like, I'm going to go. And so I left. And so I drove from Phoenix to, I stayed in Ventura. And then I stayed one night there, and then I drove up. So I was driving from Ventura to San Francisco, and I made a pit stop in Pismo Beach. I don't know. I mean, I was a huge fan of the Clueless movie, so Pismo Beach was mentioned in there a few times. And, but, I don't know anything about it, nothing about the whole area. So what I ended up doing was, I'm like, I had to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to stop at the next place I can stop. And if you know the California coast at all, you're just, you kind of, after Santa Barbara, which is gorgeous, you kind of lose, you to go up north, you have to take this turn. You can stay on the one, but it's longer. But you turn and you start heading inland for many miles, like 90 miles. So it's like 90 miles between Santa Barbara and Pismo Beach, and it's all countryside, which is insanely gorgeous, by the way. Gorgeous. And this is actually the spot, that 90-mile area that I manifested, that I was really excited before we manifested the house in Pismo. So anyway, same spot. It's really cool. It's my favorite drive between Ventura, basically between Santa Barbara, but just below Santa Barbara to Pismo is my favorite drive of anywhere in the country. So anyway, so I'm like, I gotta stop. So it breaks. The first sighting of the ocean is Pismo Beach. Between Santa Barbara and Pismo, it's like Pismo. And so I just stopped. I actually didn't even see the ocean yet. I just stopped at the very first exit that I could like get off on. And I just drove into a parking lot, into a grocery store, walked into the grocery store, and on my way, in the middle of this grocery store, the vibe was so cool that I instantly thought, God, I really want to live here. Mind blowing, guys. Mind blowing, because I don't even know where I was. I didn't even see the ocean yet. I never saw the beach. I don't even know anything, but I got this inspiration, like this thought. I want to live here. I don't even know where I am, but I want to live here. It is so crazy. So when something is super aligned and super in this vibration of what you want, you will know instantly. It's just a knowing. When you know. And it's the exact same way when the first date with my husband, same feeling. As soon as we started kissing, I knew that if I continued this, I would fall in love with him. It was an absolute knowing, and that's how I felt the moment I was in the middle of the aisle, in the middle of this grocery store in Pismo Beach. The very first time I had ever been there, I knew I wanted to live there. Really crazy. So I go to the bathroom. I'm coming out, and I call my husband, or my boyfriend at the time. And I'm telling him, I just have this, like, there's something about this. There's something here. I don't know what it is. It's really cool. And I can see us living here. I don't know why. But so anyway, so I had to keep going because I planned like a really insanely long drive, like really way too long, but I did it anyway. So I had to go. So I get into the car and I'm driving and I see the ocean and I'm like, this is really cool. Something about it. There's just something about it, right? That's basically how I left. Like, there's something about Pismo. It's really cool here. So I keep driving. I drive forever and ever. I get to my destination. It was a cool weekend, really awesome weekend. If you can ever, if you have a coach that ever does retreats, take them up on it, because it's just going to be a really cool weekend. I'm sure. Like, I have all these plans now in California that I want to do, engagements in California, like back to my old plan that I had created, earlier this year, which is really exciting. I want to do a lot of in-person things when things open up. I want to do a lot more in California. So anyway, so I'm at the retreat and I'm like, okay, I do not want to drive this far again. And so I rearranged my plans and I arranged it to stay one night in Pismo. I'm like, I got to go back. There's something there. I'm intrigued. So I stayed a night on my way back in Pismo on the cliff in this really amazing house. Just everything lined up so beautifully. It was just the most perfect place to stay. It was an Airbnb, just a room in a house on the side on the cliff. I have pictures of the place because we visited it a lot when we were living there, and I almost was able to rent the house over the summer, but it fell through. So anyway, and that was it. So my husband and I went to Pismo a few times to check it out, to go on vacation. We spent our honeymoon there. He proposed to me on the beach there. Like everything revolves around this Pismo Beach. And we lived there at the beginning, towards the beginning of this year. And then COVID hit, and then everything got locked down. And we came back to Arizona after a few weeks, like several weeks of being there, like just staring at the ocean, doing nothing because there was nothing to do. So we came back to Arizona. So we've been kind of like holding over here, to figure out what we wanted to do next. And this trip to Mexico clarified everything for us. We just immediately knew where we wanted to be. It was just, follow what feels cool and exciting and fun, and just enjoy it and just see where it takes you. And going to Mexico was really cool. Amazing food. Goodness gracious, amazing food. Like the best food I've eaten was this past week. And really, really affordable. Just a nice time to just get away from Arizona. And it's always nice to just get away from your schedule, from your monotony. Because I can't say monotony. I love like changing things up, changing my routine, getting out of that day-to-day thing, because I get bored easily. I want some other things going on. So we just instantly knew, and we were just excited the rest of the week of like, yes, we're going back. This is going to be easy manifestation. Once you really know what you want, like what you want, it's so easy to manifest it, because then you can focus. You put all your focus on that. Like that's where we're going. We're going back. We're going back. That's our home. So, okay, 16 minutes in, and let's start. Let me grab my water. But I couldn't wait to share that with you guys, because it was just so good. That clarity, what Abraham says about clarity, it is such an amazing feeling. It's so cool to have complete clarity on what you want, right? When you don't know what you want, it sucks. It sucks, right? Tell me it sucks when you don't know what you want. When you're like, there's all these choices and I don't know. And we had all these choices in front of us and we just didn't really know what we were doing or wanting to do, and this whole, past many months is just, you kind of start thinking, your thoughts get all over the place. You start listening to people, you start, you get kind of lazy with your focus, and then you're focusing everywhere, and then you just don't know what you want to do. Follow something through, follow whatever feels interesting and see where it takes you, because you're going to know it's like you're either on the right path to exactly what you want, or it's going to clarify what you want. And it's so cool. So cool. Like all I want to do now is just follow every thought that I have, just to see where it takes me. Because if it takes me to more clarity, holy moly, that is like, it's like having an orgasm. It's just like, it's like one of those moments of like, I feel so good because I know where I'm going now. So pretty cool. Okay, October 11th. Let's jump into this. This is a long one, actually. This is going to just be a long podcast. Okay, let me read. If you're following along and you have no idea what I'm doing here, I wrote a book called The Inspired Entrepreneur. I'm just writing the intro. Like all I want to do is write the intro to this book and then send it to my editor. That's all I have to do. But I'm getting into the inspiration of writing the intro, like, and then I'll move on to my next book. But because I got the idea of my next book on the plane going to Mexico. It is so cool. It's like letting go of resistance. That's what the book is going to be about. And the title might be, because it popped in my head, it's working with Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, Abraham, all of that, because we are always expanding with them. Whatever, like they're here with me, expanding with me, because they want to expand. They want to expand their message. They want to expand this whole thing. And so they're here with me. They're going to write this book with me. Major influence, right? So the title might be Let Go to Let In, because that's all it's about, is letting go of that resistance to allow everything to come in for you. And that came to me on the airplane on the way to Mexico. And then I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to start this one. But I got to write the intro of this one. So anyway, whatever. Okay, so it's a daily inspirational book for entrepreneurs. So this will be a physical book that you can have on your desk, and each day you can flip to the day, read the passage, and you can flip to any day if you feel called to do that. You can have whatever. You can play a game with this book because I like that. It's kind of like a fortune cookie. And I can't tell you how many times this book has already helped me. When I get stuck on something, I'll just like flip to a page on my computer, read a few days. I'll read like 5 days worth. And it's like instantly cures whatever was wrong with me at that moment. It was like, oh my God, this book is so insanely good. So the podcast is just the daily passage from that book. So I can talk more because I didn't want to write it all down. This would be like 1,000-page book if I actually wrote all of this. And so I like speaking, I like writing, but I like writing short stuff and I like talking more. So anyway, if any of that makes sense. Okay, so let's read today's passage. October 11th. The less in a hurry you are with wanting what you want, the faster it will come to you. Stop trying to figure it out. Stop trying to make it happen. Let go and be happy now. Be happy in the thought about the things you are going towards. If you get out of the way, your manifestation will be fuller and more awesome than you could make happen on your own. I love the last part a lot because so often we're trying to, well, the whole thing is we're trying to figure things out all the time because we don't know, like we forgot basically, right? It's not that we don't know how this world works and how all of this works. We just forget. We forgot. We've been conditioned by school, society, teachers, parents, all of that to think a certain way. And then some of us start like feeling like this isn't quite right. Grinding and hustling and working our butts off, that doesn't feel right for me. So then you start attracting the information that you do resonate with. That's how we get to this place right here. So if you stop trying to figure it out, and this is what I did all the time, trying to figure it out, have all the details, how it's all going to unfold. And most of the time it doesn't unfold that way because we don't have the broader perspective, just our logical mind or, the conscious mind. We don't have that broader perspective of how it's really going to unfold, how the pieces can come together. And so the manifestation can be so much fuller if we just let go. When I was on the way to the airport in Guadalajara, I was thinking about this, like it came to me of like, I am a researcher. I am maybe I'll stop saying all this, but I'm one of those people. I used to always have to know everything. I had to research everything, get to like know everything about something before I even attempt it. And it came to my mind of like, again, stop doing that. The more you research something, the more resistance you can put on your trail because there's just more things that you learn that may become hindering for you. Like it may just end up feeling like or sounding like it's going to be harder than you thought it was going to be. And then you might just give up, or you might just put all of this, like when you listen to other marketing people out there, sales and marketing experts out there, they'll tell you how it is. And then you got all of this resistance on your path because now you're taking in their issues, right? Because they're like, well, this didn't work, this did work. And this is, I'm telling you, like this one guy was saying, today in this one group, I'm like, I see people doing it the wrong way all the time. And I'm like, thanks for telling me. I love when people tell me I'm doing something wrong because I'm not. So you know what I mean? I'm like on my path. You may think it's wrong. That's your opinion. And good luck with that because you can't tell people that they're doing something wrong. And I know that can be difficult to hear, but you just can't. They're on their path. So going back to the passage, the less in a hurry you are, because so often we want it now, right? We want everything now, but we have to allow it to come in. We can't make things happen. Occasionally we can make something happen, but we can't make everything happen. We just can't be forceful with so many things in our life. the things that we want. Stop trying to figure it out. Stop trying to make it happen. Let go and be happy now. Be happy. So we're in Mexico, right? So we're in Mexico. We discovered we want to be back in California. I don't care about the taxes. I don't care about the politics. I don't care about all of that. I had to do a lot of work this past week. The work meaning working on my vibration of the negative things that I started looking at this past summer because I was being influenced by someone else on YouTube about going other places so I can reduce my tax problem. And not, I don't have a tax problem, but you know what I mean? Like, because of all of that. So I had to dig into, okay, that's all limiting beliefs. It's all, shortage consciousness. And I had to dig into some Abraham recordings about taxes and about all of this stuff in it and change my thoughts on it. Because the ultimate thing is I want to live in California. But if I look at all the negative things about California, it's kind of like, well, do I really want to live in California? Yeah, you do, because, there's other things that I value more. I value the weather and I value the view. I value the ocean. I value the vibe. I value all of that because we did live it and we loved it. And I cried the day before we left to come back to Arizona. It was at the very end of April. I cried because we were leaving. But I tried to pull myself, together of like, we'll be back. But I kind of knew it was going to be a little while. You know how that is. It's like, oh yeah, we'll be right back. And then it's like a long time later and you're like, oh shit. So I just kind of knew it wasn't going to be a quick trip. I kind of knew it was going to be a few months. I just knew because we didn't know, right? The uncertainty of the situation of COVID. It's like, we don't know what's really going on. We can't predict the future. So I cried a little bit. I was sad to leave because I loved it. So there. So I had to get on board with, working on that shortage consciousness of taxes because it's the highest taxed, state, especially for self-employed. And then all the other things, wildfires, all of this, right? If you're in California, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you know it more than I do, but it's like, it doesn't have to matter. None of that has to matter. So I'm on this thing, like it was probably a year ago because we were in California a year ago too. It's coming up on my Facebook memories. You should go look at my page from October. What is today? 10/10/20. Like, I'm recording this yesterday for you. It's hard. I'm recording this on Saturday. You should go to my personal Facebook page, Heather Hope, and I shared a picture from last year with my dog on the beach looking at the sunset. It's beautiful. And we were there a year ago. And that particular trip, I was super inspired to focus on California of business owners. Like, because my in my group I have over 100 countries, like people who follow me from over 100 countries. The same with Esther Hicks, the same with some other law of attraction people. There's around 100 countries of people who follow law of attraction. And so, of course, I've got a few people in my academy from other countries, and that's cool, that's awesome. But I keep getting inspired to focus on California. So when I did that earlier this year, I said I want to work with more California people, and I did. I started manifesting California people like crazy. It was really, really fun to see. And so on this trip, I'm like, I want to go back to that whole plan that I had about really focusing on California, focusing on business owners in California, because they may need it more than a lot of people because of the state of California. And, and please laugh at this next statement that I'm going to say, because it came to my mind and I just laughed, and I think it's funny and cliche and whatever. But I said, I want to make California great again. Now, that is not my political stance in this country. But anyway, you know what I mean? Like, I want to make California awesome. Like, I want to be part of the contributing factor of making California really amazing. And with positive thinking, right, we can focus on what we want in California and not on all this crap that's going on in California, right? We can focus more. So with my Soul Aligned Business Academy, I may create a separate academy that's just for California people. It's an idea I'm playing with, just so we can focus on California as a whole. Right now in my academy, I think I have 4 people who live in California. But there's a possibility I may break it off and have one that's like everyone else in the world, and then California, because and do local events, local meetups, and do everything I do in the academy, but for California residents, and maybe even people who want to live in California. I don't know, because I've met some of you that want to live in California. It's your dream. So I want to help Californians, create the California dream. California dream. So I have a friend on Facebook. I don't know if he listens to the podcast, but he follows me on Facebook, and he made like $1 million this summer by taking the pressure off of his business, focusing on something else, and then like all of a sudden he made a sale in something totally unrelated to his business, and made a commission of like $1 million. And I was like, this is awesome. And he just moved into a beachfront condo or house in Southern California. And I'm like, that is exactly what, because he's an Abraham follower. I'm like, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to help business owners in California and all across the world, of course, all of you. But as like this thing to help improve a particular state that's struggling to be improved, financially, helping business owners, because it's mostly small business owners in California, but business owners in California expand their business, create more revenue, have more money to put back into the economy to live the life they really want to live in California, on the beach, whatever that dream is, but also with the positive attention, like the positive thoughts, the thought forms, instead of looking around and being like, the half the state's on fire, the other half is blah, 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 on all of this, right? Instead of looking at the negative, having a focal point of the positive aspects of California, because when you focus on something, you get more of that, right? So like helping California in that way, setting intentions, really focusing, appreciating the positives of California. And who else could do that? Who can do that more than local residents of California who love living in California? So anyway, that's that all came from my Mexico trip. So because I want the state to improve. If I'm going to live there, I want it to be the best, right? So I'm going to help the economy and all of the natural stuff of California become better. So let's repeat this again. The less in a hurry you are with wanting what you want, the faster it will come to you. You can't be in a hurry. You have to. The thing is about being in a hurry is that where it's saying, the vibration is saying that where you are currently is not enough. It's not satisfying. So you want to get to the next thing. And there's a gap there. There's that vibration. So you have to be satisfied where you are, like love where you are now, but really you can be eager about what's coming. You got to fill that gap in, that vibrational gap of where I am is not enough. Where you are has to be enough to get where you want to be. It has to be. Okay, stop trying to figure it out. Stop trying to make it happen. Let go and be happy now. Be happy in the thought about the things you are going towards. Be happy where you are. Be happy now. Be happy where you're going. Like, we're happy now where we are, because a million amazing things right now where we are. But we're really excited about where we're going. Of course we are, because we've already experienced it, so we know we're excited about it. And before we know it, we'll be there and we'll be like, oh, yeah, we're here. Okay, cool. And it's going to be old news. And then it's going to be normal. Because that's what with every manifestation that happens, it feels freaking normal. It feels so normal to be there. It just feels normal. And then it's like, okay, now what? What's next? That's why Abraham says we never get it done, because once we get what we want more. We want the next thing. We want the next expansion. And it's 100% true. Every time I get to where I want to be or get what I wanted, I'm like, okay, cool. Now what? Because we want more. We just want to expand all the time. So if you get out of the way, your manifestation will be fuller and more awesome than you could make happen on your own. Allow the universe to fill in the details. You cannot fill in the details. You can't. Your broader perspective will. Let the universe fill in the details for you. Okay, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening being a viewer or listener or whatever this is. And have an amazing rest of your Sunday. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.